rotate. Why is it locked? Rotate, rotate. Yep. On. You again. You again. Come on, Newcastle. Shut this up. Don't go into the shot. Why don't you shut? Oh no! That's not what I want. This remote is broken. Just put final score on. I'll put it on. Whatever. And then third banana, a little bit of penguins in Madagascar doesn't hurt, does it? Also, Cmon Leicester. Hey. Yeah.
Outside the playoff positions, but obviously with a certain result last night, Newcastle in their third consecutive game, hadn't lost at home all season, suddenly they lose two in a row. Maybe that second automatic for us and not just the players who got to fit. So on the second, I've upset Alex Bruce already, I've upset you because you're a Cardiff fan. Matt Upton know that Birmingham City will be getting passes all afternoon as well.
He's next to the pirate line. Have you got something lined up for it?
You can go now.
He does.
Okay, there's plenty to go at.
Look out for the whole staff on final score. I'm gunning for you today. Thank you very much indeed, Mark. So here we go then. Let's go around the ground to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea can move above Manchester United with a win over Stoke City. Mike Williams.
Yes, Chelsea could play understudy to Manchester City in the Premier League table for a few hours at least, with victory over Stoke here, who haven't won at Stamford Bridge in the league since 1974. Eden Hazard is on the bench today, which suggests Antonio Conte is quietly confident about this one. Stoke have two 18-year-old fullbacks today in Josh Tyman and Tom Edwards. The last time they started with two teenagers in the league was way back in 2006, but they did go on to win that match 4-0 that day. Don't hold your breath for that result today, though.
Good stats, Mike. Good stats. Liverpool against Leicester City was a thriller early in the season. More of the same Daily Barber today.
Oh yes, please, Jason. Recent history suggests we should get goals here today. There have been 25 in the last 7 meetings between these two. Leicester do face one of the informed teams in the country today. Liverpool unbeaten in their last 11 league matches. They've only conceded 3 times here at Anfield this season in the league, and they're now 16 home games without defeat. Not to mention, they just can't stop scoring right now. So the odds stacked against the Foxes perhaps, just like they were way back in 1981 when Liverpool saw their 85-match unbeaten run ended by little fancy Leicester. How the visitors would love a repeat of that to end 2017.
Yeah, Liverpool looking really sharp, aren't they? Watford won their first game in 7 on Boxing Day. Today they're at home to Swansea City and their new manager, Robin Coward.
It's going to have to be one hell of a bouncer. Carlos Caballal is going to get Swansea out of this situation. Bottom of the Premier League, 5 points from safety with an abysmal away record. They've lost their last 7 games on the road. The new manager was offered the chance to watch this game from the stands. He refused. He wants to get stuck right in, and his team are going to have to hit the ground running.
7th would be Burnley's best finish to a top-flight year since 1973. And they're hoping to end on a high with a win over Huddersfield Town, John Akins.
Would you have believed it at the start of the season, Jason, if you've been told this will be 11th versus 7th at the end of the year? I'm not sure you would. Both are enjoying fabulous seasons. David Wagner's team are 6 points clear of the relegation zone, while Burnley have a width of Europe, 4 points behind 6th place Arsenal. Certainly not a glamour fixture, but there'll be no shortage of heart and endeavour on show.
Absolutely. Newcastle United only a point above the drop zone. A win today would take them level on points with their opponents at Brighton. Vicky Sparks.
Yeah, it's a huge game for both sides in the battle.
Come on, the tune. Just fucking phone.
Get one over on his old club. Newcastle are on their worst run of home form in the top flight since 1953. Another loss today would equal an unwanted club record of 6 home defeats in a row. Brighton, meanwhile, have lost their last 4 away games without scoring. They that you really do feel, Jason, that this one could go either way.
And Bournemouth will need their fans behind them today as they try to hold their abysmal form against Everton, Chris Wise.
Yeah, no winning ace.
Baby, this.
Everton riders, Sam Allardyce, the first
No.
of these managers to start the reign 7 games unbeaten, but his leading scorer Wayne Rooney isn't fit enough to start today.
For fuck's sake.
Thank you very much indeed, Chris. So we're all set then. We'll go around the EFL grounds very shortly. And a lot of criticism for Newcastle United, Alex. What did you make of the storm that Rafa Benitez put up about parking the bus against Manchester? You do it, right? If you're in that position, you do what you do.
You get more criticism. He went expansive and got beat 6-0 at home, wasn't it? It's not attractive to watch. We all know that. But the way City are playing at the minute and the form they're in, they can carve open any team. What way do you play against them? If you're a club like Newcastle with the players they've got at the moment, I think they played the game the right way. Tried to make it difficult for them, and they could have quite easily nicked the goal with some of the opportunities they wanted.
Because some of the critics, what they have to understand is that, yes, football is an entertainment business and we all want to see great games, but actually, when you're in the thick of it and when you're possibly looking at returning to the Championship, you do what you have to do with the squad you've got.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I have a bit of a different take in that. I think supporters, when you know it's going to be that difficult, I think one thing the supporters want to turn up and see you're at home is being on the front foot and having a go at the game. It's very difficult sometimes when you set up to be that tactically negative to do that. It's a mindset of the players, so you can play a certain shape but still have that about, still be able to get close to people, put tackles in, go and press the ball. And I think that's the disappointing thing about that performance against Man City.
Okay, let's go into the Championship then, shall we? The leaders Wolves are at Bristol City at 5:30. The pick of the 3 o'clock games in Riverside, where Tony Pulis takes charge of Middlesbrough for the very first time. Let's go live there. Damien Johnson.
Hi Jason, 42 days after taking charge of West Brom for the final time, he'll relish the prospect of a huge game against a club like Aston Villa here today. His lineup perhaps a nod to the future. George Friend, Daniel Ayala and Rudy Gested all come in from the cold. Villa, without a single win in December, make 3 changes too. Notably, Jack Grealish drops to the bench. On loan, Josh Anoma returns. Still no John Terry though. We're underway, 0-0.
Thank you, Damien. Derby County and Gary Rowett are looking to keep up the pressure on the chasing pack. They're on the road, up Portman Road in fact. Jack Nichols.
And with that Wolves versus Bristol City match later on, it means Derby with victory would go second in the Championship for the time being at least. They've made 5 changes from their previous 0-0 draw. They haven't lost a match in a month now, Derby County, or conceded a goal either. The last time they did lose and concede was a 1-0 defeat to Ipswich back in November.
Okay, we've got a goal in the Premier League. Let's go there. Haley Barber, Anfield.
And it's a goal for the visitors.
Get in.
Well, that man, Jamie Vardy, has put the visitors ahead, and then Liverpool will have themselves to blame. It was a terrible clearance from Joe Massive, but he had sent it straight to a Leicester player. The ball finds its way out wide to Mahrez, who squares it across the front of the in front of the goal for Vardy, just to tap it in. Past Karius, and Leicester who lead here by a goal to 0.
3 goals in 4 games for Jamie Vardy, and the goal at Stamford Bridge, Mike Williams.
That didn't take long, did it? 2.5 minutes on the clock, and the champions are ahead here at Stamford Bridge. It was as simple as you like. Free kick on the far side. William took it, whipped it in, and Antonio Rudiger, the big defender, got up highest and headed it past Butland in the Stoke goal. This could be a long afternoon for Mark Hughes this side. They already trail here by a goal to 0.
Fantastic header. But let's start with Liverpool, first of all, because we've been talking about Virgil van Dijk. One man doesn't make a team. Well, you're looking at possibly 3 or 4 players you need if you are going to keep up the likes of Jamie Vardy. Dreadful defending.
Oh, it was awful. Matip's pass got it off the
Sorry, I mean big arms and weird.
really weak, loose ball in the field. It got stolen, broken goal. And it's one of those things where you don't want to make that mistake. You've got the top centre half just sitting in the stand. You know, you want to have a good game today, and you want to show that you're worthy of being in the team. It's been a disastrous start. I think it starts from the goalkeeper as well, just like we were talking about before. I mean,
It's going to happen.
You've always the centre half on the edge of the
Come on,
box.
Newcastle.
A bit short of confidence. Got the big man sat in the stand.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is a brilliant. Why put yourself under that pressure so early in the game?
And meanwhile, Virgil van Dijk is sitting there thinking, what have I done? Let's go back to the Championship. Birmingham City are in big trouble at the bottom of the table. Leeds United on a promotion push, having won their last 4 matches. It's all going well for Leeds United, Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, very much so, and we've got 2 teams with contrasting runs here. There have been many false dawns over the 13 years since Leeds have been away from the top flight. Hopes, though, are rising. There was a blip in November, but since then they've won 5 on their last 6. Birmingham City could be a bigger contrast. They've won just 1 in 12 They've also got the worst scoring record in the EFL. It's Birmingham 0, Leeds 0.
Goals in the Scottish Premiership. Kilmarnock in front. Chris Boyd has scored again for them at Hibs, and Dundee in front at St Johnstone. Bradford City going well in League One lead. Oxford United by a goal to nil. Charlie White with a goal.
On Gateshead.
Sheffield United back
As
to win
well.
ways on Boxing Day. Bolton Wanderers, however, have had a mixed Christmas, Sue Smith.
They have. Bolton have had a very mixed Christmas, and they were comfortably beaten by Middlesbrough on Boxing Day, and they're still looking for their first away victory in the league this term. Sheffield United ended their 7-match winless run with a dominant display against Sunderland, which moved them back into the playoff positions. If they beat Bolton today, it'll set a record for the number of league points gained in a calendar year for them. But so far, it's Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 0.
Rotherham United start the day in 9th. They lead Walsall by a goal to nil. Inverness lead at Brecon, and Queen's Park in front at home to Albion. Now let's go to Vicarage Road. Swansea City have had a chance, Robin Cowan.
A huge chance, one out of absolutely nothing. Jordan Ayew, about 30 yards, took aim, a crossfield shot, and it smacked the bar. Gomez was kind of watching it, assuming it was going to go over the crossbar. Big chance for Swansea. It's Watford 0, Swansea 0.
Craig Tanner's got a 6th goal this season from Motherwell. They lead Hamilton by a goal to nil in the Scottish Premiership. Back to the Vitality, Chris Wines.
0-0, the visitors Everton have
Yes, I don't
settled
even
nicely.
think
One chance to tell you about for Bournemouth though. Ryan Fraser, free kick from the left, deep towards the far post. Steve Cook, the centre-half, on the stretch. It was just too high.
Come on, Newcastle.
Now what's happening at the John Smith Stadium, John Aikens?
Early stages, not much happening to be honest, Jason. We've not had a chance at either end yet. Burnley looks slightly the better. Ashley Barnes down the right, squared it across. There was a man lurking for Burnley in the middle, cleared away by Huddersfield. Breezy, not very pleasant conditions here.
And let's go to St James's Park. Vicky Sparks.
Goalless between Newcastle and Brighton, but important challenge in the Brighton penalty area by Bong. Back in the side.
Come on, Newcastle. Keep the pressure going.
To Richie. Newcastle 0, Brighton 0.
Come on.
Back to the Championship, an excellent Boxing Day win for Brentford over Aston Villa. Sorry, today they're at home against manager the Sheffield Wednesday. Steve McLaren, one of the front runners we hear, Lindsay Hooper.
Afternoon.
Steve McLaren is a knobhead.
Wednesday have spoken to the former England manager, but I do have it.
You sent her down.
That the club have decided to continue
Because he's
their
a knobhead.
search. In the
An
meantime,
absolute
Steve Bullen
knobhead.
is an interim charge.
Complete knobhead. That's who Steve McLaren is. An absolute knobhead who sent the tune down. They didn't deserve to.
Of an injury in that match. Dean Smith's named an unchanged Brentford side from the one that beat Villa. Injuries mean that he continues.
Come on, that tune. Fucking hope we'll win. Fucking need it.
Just 2 defeats in their
Get even
last
further
17
away.
league games here, though.
New Year's over 20 points and we'll see it.
The first of 3 very big league and cup away games in the next 4. For Sunderland today, Ivan Gaskell is at the City Ground.
Yes, very good afternoon. January in general
Whackers!
was part of the campaign for Chris Coleman and co. Middlesbrough in the cup, then Keith.
These are shit. Nottingham Forest are going to hammer us 20-0.
20 championship games, something really needs to change.
I hate Sunderland.
Have an intriguing
Fucking wankers.
fortnight ahead themselves, though. Leeds, Arsenal, Villa and Wolves all lie in wait. Both sides coming into this on the back of 3-0 defeats. How will they react? Watch this space.
Nottingham Forest are going to win.
Had 2 very impressive away wins before
Hate
Boxing
Sunderland.
Day defeats to Leeds United.
I
Today
hate both
they're
of
at
them.
home
Well, I
to
hate
Norwich
Sunderland
City.
more.
Now Mark Webber, right, had to sit through a Dower game on Tuesday, and he's hoping for goals today, aren't you, Mark?
I am indeed. No goals yet, but I tell you what, Burton's showing no sign of the home form that's held them back so far this season.
Cause
2
yous are
chances,
shit,
Burton
cause
already.
yous are
A
shit,
free kick
cause
from
yous are
Naylor,
shit.
just pushed over the bar by
Can't
Angus
really say
Gallagher,
out to my
and
team
the ball
shite,
went
man.
too powerful for Sean Scammell that he couldn't control it in the area. Norwich with 6 unforced changes, resting players for a big game against Millwall in 2 days' time, playing in a fashionable purple.
This is what I'm going to do every week now.
Record-breaking day, Mike Williams. Goal at Stamford Bridge.
It could certainly be a long afternoon for Stoke City.
Oh, yeah, Stuart, man. I don't want Chelsea winning.
Down here to the champions, the second
Useless.
goal from Danny Drinkwater. He just
They're
nicked
gone,
it
dude.
past Butler, who
Going
was
down.
motionless in the Stoke goal. It was with Morata. It picked out of the Stoke box.
Sorry, but Danny Drinkwater scored.
And picked it up and over.
You could fucking hear it anyways. Why am I saying it?
To the back of his net. Spare a thought for Mark Hughes. He already has his hands thrust into his pockets. He could be in.
Where United?
Again, 2-0 Stoke are behind.
Very, very classy finish, Matt. Top class finish, I have to say. The way he's just, the ball spinning, he's controlled it on his thigh, so relaxed and composed, and just stroked it into the far corner. It's a fabulous finish.
Excellent, excellent goal. Yeah. He's got that in his locker, Drinkwater, hasn't he? Anything around the edge of the box, we've seen it before.
He's got a really good strike on him. He's showed it yet again.
Okay, we've got a goal at Ewood Park in our feature game in League One. Richard Ascombe.
Go on, Blackburn. Third place, Blackburn Rovers take the lead, Jason. Danny Graham is 7th of the season. Great work from Elliot bending down the right-hand side. He crossed it, and there was Graham to thump it into the back of the net. Rovers stood close to within 3 points of Wigan with a win here today. Tony Mowbray's side are unbeaten in 12 league games. It's a run that stretches back to the middle of October, and they're in the lead.
Wycombe Wanderers start the day in 4th, and Adebayo Akinfenwa has got his 13th goal of the season. They lead Mansfield by a goal to nil, and there's been a goal in our feature game at Tinsel back. Andrew Lindsay.
Yeah, the two sides promoted to this division experiencing very different fortunes.
I'm not a Lincoln fan, you know.
Newcastle fan.
Got me for one on charge and do not trust it one day.
Lincoln chasing League One football. Forest Green just hoping to move on to the bottom. No league wins since mid-November. A rivalry's developed between these teams of contrasting styles, some verbal and physical sparring this season.
These things are
going the way of the last three.
You're not four.
Forest Green Rovers in all sorts of trouble at the bottom of the table. Well, Fulham fans to spend Christmas on the road. There was that trip to Cardiff City on Tuesday, where a 4-2 win cheered them up until they saw just how long it would take to get to Hull City. Spare a thought for the Dirk Tanner.
Yeah, life in the fast lane does seem to agree with them though, doesn't it? Unlike their host, it might have been a very big year for the city of Hull, but for Hull City, 2017 is one to forget. 12 wins only and 4 head coaches, plus a whole host of off-field antics.
2017's a one for them to bloody forget.
Better, but they haven't got any results yet. Fulham back-to-back Christmas wins so far. Good news for Hull is that Bowen is back, the top scorer, one of 2 changes made by Nigel Atkins. Fulham are unchanged. We've played 9 minutes, gently
Oh, Newcastle.
0-0.
And welcome to the Premier League, Carlos Carvajal, Robert Cowan.
Watford 1, Swansea 0. A really well-worked goal
Who
by
scored?
Watford. Beautiful defence-splitting
Watford.
pass by Stefano
Watford.
Lukaku.
Good.
Richarlison to
I want them
gain
guys
from
doing
the
Swansea.
angle, carried by Fabianski onto the head of Andre Carrillo. There's about 5 defenders around him, but he got there first into the net.
Come on, Newcastle,
And yes,
man.
Swansea's era under Carlos Carvajal is underway in a negative sense. Watford 1, Swansea 0.
Yeah, first Premier League goal for Carrillo as well. But you do have to say, and maybe point the finger, would you be telling your goalkeeper you should have done better with that, Alex?
His coach was unaware. I think he got into a position where he thought, is he going to cross up, is he going to have a shot?
You've torn this up.
And he's not really done anything with it. He's
Fuck
poked
you.
it up in the air. And the lad Carrick, was it Carrill?
Carrill, yeah.
He was, it's a simple finish for him to nod it in the goal.
Yeah, it's a good run, isn't it, from Richarlison as well?
No, yeah, I'm really a big fan of Richarlison. I think he's really unconventional Brazilian. You don't expect to see how he plays, but whenever the ball's in the middle of the pitch, he's on his bike. He wants it in that space behind. So any full-back playing against him, he's got to be prepared to run back towards their own goal.
Fantastic defence splitting pass from Lukaku to put them in that situation.
Yeah.
Lovely ball down the inside of the full-back. Good goal.
Poor reaction from the centre-back. So once that ball gets spun up in the air, though, okay, the goalkeeper could do more, but once it goes up in the air, you've got to see one of your defenders get in there and just put...
Oh, on Richarlison, we touched on this on the show on Boxing Day. He should perhaps score more goals, shouldn't he? He gets himself into really good positions. He's missed a handful of chances this season.
Yeah, he has. I'll give you that. I mean, he's not the polished article. I think he's still a bit raw around the edges, you know. That raw energy that he shows sometimes so dogged and wants to get in behind. But no, he could have some more goals for his game.
Yeah. Do we have a goal at the John Smith Stadium, John Akers?
It's been disallowed for offside, Jason. Free kick on the right for Burnley. In it came. Good header from Ashley Barnes. And actually a smart save from the goalkeeper. And then from the resultant save, offside given against Jeff Hendrick, who just had to tap it into the net. You've probably got a better view of the replay than I have, but it's still 0-0 here.
Yeah, we'll have a look in just a moment. Chelsea have gone close again, by the way. Stamford Bridge is going to be a long afternoon for Mark Hughes. Barnsley winless in 6 home league matches against Reading, stretching back to 1996 when they won promotion to the Premier League. And you have to say now, Spremji, no offence to Barnsley fans, they're a long way from those days.
Afternoon, Jason, they are, but a takeover of the club has given the home fans some cause to dream big again. Incidentally, Darren Sheridan and Andy Liddell scored in that game, which Barnsley won 3-0. Paul Heckingbottom hoping for similar 22 years on. Reading, like Fulham and Sheffield Wednesday, suffered a playoff hangover, struggling this campaign. Yapstam's side could do with a victory after a run of 4 games without one. Tepid start here, Barnsley 0, Reading 0.
However, we have a goal at Portman Road, Jack Nichols.
And it's a goal for Derby. They have taken the lead
lead. A corner from the far side, and now Vitra's through, the second top scorer in the championship. Blazes it over the bar from the penalty spot when he was one-on-one with the keeper, coming just a minute after Sam Winnall gave Derby the lead with a header from a corner. As it stands, Derby moving up to second place.
Yes, they are, and it's now Walsall 1, Rotherham 1. Joe Edwards with the goal. Staying in League One, another goal at Ewood Park. Richard Askham.
Yes, Jason was expecting goals today, and so it's proving. Scunthorpe have an equaliser. Kevin Van Veen, the Dutchman, is fifth of this season. It is slid in down the right-hand channel, and he smashed it into the top corner. Blackburn Rovers 1, Scunthorpe United 1.
Got the makings of a cracking game there. Let's go back to St James's Park. How's that bus looking, Vicky Sparks?
Well, Newcastle certainly aren't parking it against Brighton as they did against Manchester City. They're growing into this one. Important interception again in the Brighton penalty area. This time a header from captain Bruno with Gale and Hosselu lurking. Newcastle 0, Brighton 0.
Come on then, Chris Wise, what you got for us?
0-0, but what I can tell you is that Bournemouth, who are in the bottom three, haven't won in 8, are playing extremely positively. They're trying to run between the Everton lines. Ryan Fraser on more than one occasion has found that pocket of space between the Everton midfield and the back line, and his final decision and that final ball when he's got up to the edge of Everton's penalty area has been lacking, but Eddie Howe will be reasonably pleased with what he's seen so far. 0-0.
And what about at the John Smith Stadium, John Akers?
Yeah, it's not the best game you've ever seen, but Burnley are on top at the moment. Huddersfield have had a couple of half chances. Hogg with a half volley over from 20 yards. And Quana, powerful run and left-footed shot saved by Pope. 0-0.
And here come Liverpool, Ailey Barber.
Yeah, Liverpool really trying to get an equaliser. I thought it had come actually, not long after they went behind to Mo Salah. He got the ball in the centre of the box. He had great feet to create the space, but his shot just whistled past the post. I think a few in the Liverpool section of the support here thought that it had gone in. Liverpool just really trying to get this equaliser. They are all over Leicester at the moment. It's a great game, this. 2 counter-attacking teams. Lots of play in the final third on both sides. I'm really enjoying it. Leicester lead though by a goal to 0.
You can't take your eyes off that. William, great player. Terrible free kick, Mike Williams.
Yeah, he had a free kick a little bit further out from the one that led to the Rudiger goal, which opened Chelsea scoring here, and yeah, it was glazed over. It's a rare example of some lax Chelsea attacking, because they have been completely dominant here in the first 17 minutes or so. Since you were last with me, Morata racing
Chelsea are a good
into
team,
the box,
well.
got his shot away, but it was straight at Butler. Now, Antonio Conte, despite his side being 2-0 up, he's still in the box, bellowing instructions to his Chelsea side. He's never happy, is he?
No. Right, we'll come back to you very shortly, but we have to talk about Chelsea because they've made a blistering start. And when you look at the table, lads, when you look at it, perhaps Manchester United fans will say, well, hang on, think about this. But when you look at Chelsea, do you think of them as possibly the team that are going to end up second? Yeah,
what is interesting about Chelsea is that they have kind of flown a little bit under the radar this season. I mean, they're Premier League champions. So then to look at them and not really giving too much attention, it's because all the other teams are taking all the headlines, but they've definitely got the capability to slip in there for second place for me, for sure.
Yeah, because when you look at what's going on off the pitch as well, Jose Mourinho seems to be on the back pages of most papers, complaining either about other clubs' transfer policies and how much money they're spending, or his own worries with his own squad. Whereas Antonio Conte, as Matt says, is kind of just going about his business quietly, isn't he?
He'll probably be happy with that. There's so much going on in Manchester with City and United, both at loggerheads with each other. The Mourinho and Pep show, as it is in most weeks. I'm sure Conte will be happy to go under the radar. The way they're playing today, granted Stoke have got a lot of injuries, but it could be a cricket score, couldn't it?
Stoke are struggling massively in this
Can't get out their own half.
I mean, it must be so hard with 2 young full-backs, and you've got Cameron in there, who's not naturally a centre-back as well. I mean, to cope with the movement, and as a full-back playing against Chelsea, with the 2 wide players, they run you inside, they run you short, don't they? Like, it's so, tactically, it's such a difficult game for those men.
The way it is as well today, with the way Chelsea have started to play with a back 4, like it looked like Stoke doing as well, inexperienced, very brave against the players that Chelsea have got.
We've also seen Jack Butland as well attempt to clear a ball which didn't really even reach the 18-yard box. Is this what happens when you're up against it from the off, and Stoke City haven't been going well, have they, before Christmas either, and when you're depleted, and when you're playing against one of the best teams in the country, and you find yourself 2-0 down, is that what happens? Suddenly the nerves set in and the confidence goes?
Yeah, I think all of a sudden your body just feels, and more mentally, isn't it? More mentally, the fatigue and the scale of what you have to do to get back in this game becomes very daunting, because Chelsea at the moment, they're just peppering the Stoke goal, and there's no way out for them in this game at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, do we have another goal at Anfield, Ailey Barber?
I think everybody in here thought it was until they looked at the linesman whose flag was raised for offside. It was just superbly worked. Coutinho and Salah back to Coutinho, who found Andrew Robertson on the left-hand side, and he sent in a beautiful cross that Manny put into the back of the net just to turn around and see the flag raised. That one deserved the goal to stand. It was a beautiful build-up, but it's still Leicester with that one goal advantage.
We just looked at the replays and Mane is very much offside. Right, Mark Clement, what you got in the EFL?
Well, maybe we should start just by if you were snoozing in the chair last night, or your horrible family were visiting and you couldn't concentrate. Last night then, Preston did win at Cardiff. It was a very late Tom Clark goal. It means that Preston have got the second longest unbeaten run in the Championship at the moment on 9 matches, and it was a second league win in 12 for Millwall. Steve Morrison's first goal of the season. Here's where we are then in this afternoon's fixtures. That massive game at 5:30, Bristol City against Wolves, both with their respective great forms. Let's just have a look at that Borough lineup that Damien was mentioning to us, talking about Tony Pulis, his solidity, the way he likes to play. It looks to me as though all 4 of those defenders can play centre-half as well as full-back, so a lot of solidity there. Gary Monk had been playing 4-3-3 a lot of the time, but that's distinctly a 4-4-2 there, so that's how they're lining up there today. Borough, of course, Aston Villa, not been on a great run, no wins in 5, and Steve Bruce starting to get 1 or 2 pelters from the supporters, so equally needs to be on his game today and try and get something out of that match there. Derby up to second. What a run they are on. I mean, just to clarify for you, it's 4 wins in an unbeaten 5 without conceding. The last time they conceded a goal in the Championship was actually the reverse fixture at their place against Ipswich. Let's take you into League One and whisk you through where we are. And again, games last night, and having won 5 in a row, scoring 19 goals in the process. It's 2 consecutive home goalless draws for leaders Wigan. Doncaster on one heck of a run at the moment with that 2-0 victory over Rochdale, their 3rd straight league win. Amongst the rest of the contenders today then, well, there's Shrewsbury have just taken the lead there at Southend with Coker own goal down there. Ben Coker own goal on that one there. Bradford, who had lost both their festive fixtures after 4 wins in 5 ahead through that Charlie Wyke goal. And I wanted to flag up the progress of Peterborough. 0-0 in that sort of derby match as it stands at the moment there. Won their last 4 in all competitions, absolutely flying. Got a prolific centre forward in Jack Marriott, 21 goals. Got a prolific assister in Marcus Maddison. Both of those 2 players linked with Leeds United. Can Barry Fry and co hang on to them? 0-0 at the moment with MK Dons. Joe Walsh has been sent off for MK Dons early in the game. No relation to the Eagles guitarist. I'm sure you were listening to Hotel California and Take It Easy on the way up today, Jason.
Yes, I was. Yeah, thank you very much, Indeed. How do you know I like the Eagles? Let's go to Griffin Park. Lindsay Hooper.
Brentford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, and I was about to say that this game needed to spring into life. Only 1 shot on target before Vibe, who is a player in great form. He netted the winner against Villa. He's now got 6 goals in 5 matches. Some lovely control inside the box, dummied a defender, and then slotted past Wildsmith in the Wednesday goal. It's Brentford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Lindsay, thank you. And we have a goal at Bramall Lane. Sue Smith.
It's Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 0. And I've got to say, it's a deserved lead for the away side. A great build-up play on the left-hand side, and Gary Medine just came in at the back post for his 8th goal of the season to tap the ball past Moore in the Sheffield United goal. Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 1.
Yeah, 8th goal of the season then for Gary Medine. Just before we talk about Alexis Sanchez and Arsenal, there is something happening at Stamford Bridge. Mike Williams.
3-0 to Chelsea. This one has been coming as well, you have to say. It's Pedro who's got it, and again the ball picking about in the Stoke box. It fell to Pedro, and the Spaniard rifled it past Butland. Mark Hughes standing in front of me with his arms crossed, looking to the skies, perhaps hoping for some divine intervention. They may need even more than that if they're to survive getting a real hiding here in West London this afternoon.
Wow, 5th goal of the season for Pedro. Richard Foster off for St Johnstone in the Scottish Premiership. Back to Anfield, Eddie Barber.
Well, we've just had a change of ball here. I think the last one was bouncing strangely, so they've changed the ball, which is worrying for Leicester because Liverpool have been utterly sensational in attack here so far to today, and if that was with a dodgy ball, I don't know what they're going to be like now they've got the new ball. It is all Liverpool, and they are just knocking on the door for that equaliser. Leicester just that one chance really, and Vardy it was that slotted it away to give them that goal lead.
He's right, you cannot take your eyes off that game. Let's go to the John Smith Stadium. Burnley have had a great chance, Johnny.
They've had a couple actually. The latest, Defoe on his right foot, 20 yards out, just dragged it wide of the right-hand post. And then Goodmanson, a run and shot, left foot, 12 yards, again, dragged it with his left foot, wide of the goalkeeper's left-hand post. 0-0, but Burnley on top.
We just spotted some shots, Chris Wise, of Sam Allardyce and also David Moyes there today.
I know, back 4 days after being here on Boxing Day with West Ham. I wonder if he's turned up to see he can reverse the decision that saw his side lose the lead in controversial circumstances late on. 0-0 here, Bournemouth, Brighton, Breezy. Everton yet to really threaten. One opportunity since you were last with me. Callum Wilson bustling his way through on the edge of the penalty area, past Keane, past Jagielka, half-volley snapshot, saved straight at Pickford. 0-0.
Matt Ritchie shaking his head. Why, Vicky Sparks?
Because this is a tight and tense affair. Still Newcastle 0, Brighton 0. We've had our first real save of the game. A wonderful ball over the top from Marino as Ryan is closed down in the Brighton goal. Clears over the halfway line. Marino's ball over the top. Gale onto it. Tried to finish from a very tight angle. The save was made by Ryan. Still Newcastle 0, Brighton 0.
Goal in our game in League 2. Andrew Lindsay.
It's 1-1 here between Lincoln City and Forest Green Rovers. Turn and shot from Christian Doidge, exactly the kind of nimble movement in the box you'd expect for a man who once represented Wales at basketball. 1-1.
The random stat award goes to Andrew Lindsay. Let's go to Robin Cowan at Vicarage Road.
Where it's still Watford 1, Swansea 0. Watford playing some lovely stuff here. Looks like they've got their mojo back after that poor run where they didn't win for 6 games. Andre Carrillo, incidentally, the 14th different goal scorer this season for Watford, a league high. So a real team effort that Marco Silva has got going here. It's still Watford 1, Swansea 0.
Well, as Ailey says, Alex, Liverpool are playing some fantastic stuff, but they're a goal behind.
They are a goal behind. It's been a bit of a snatch and grab in terms of how the game's panning out. Since Leicester have scored, it's just been wave after wave of Liverpool attack. Kasper Schmeichel's made a few very good saves. There've been some missed opportunities, and the way it's going, I can only see a Liverpool equaliser just around the corner.
Yeah, Hibs have equalised in the Scottish Premiership 1-1 against Kilmarnock, and 6 shots Liverpool have had.
It's funny how Klopp was laughing before the game about the result in the cup at Leicester, and to say, you know, go and watch the video, look at the game. This is like a carbon copy. Leicester ahead, but Liverpool creating, playing fabulous attacking football and creating loads of chances.
The amount of times the fullbacks have got to the byline and cross balls into the box, it's just constantly getting cleared by the Leicester defenders.
But what we don't see with Leicester City is you don't see them being defensive, do you? Because there's such a good counter-attack inside. So now they've gone ahead. Have they changed their formation and their shape at all?
Maybe. They may be sitting back and making it difficult for Liverpool. But I just think it's the way Liverpool are playing. They're forcing them back out.
It's almost what Leicester want. You know, it's almost inviting them on. Come on, they've got the pace, they've got the quality to counter-attack, like you say, very quickly. Schmeichel's distribution, it catches any ball.
As we've seen this season, sometimes it's just literally one pass, isn't it? One pass to Jamie Vardy or Riyad Mahrez, and they're off.
Yeah, it's a great
Right, but let's just go back very quickly to Arsenal. What did you make of Alexis Sanchez this week, and all sorts of stories in the papers this morning about some of the players not celebrating with Alexis Sanchez?
I didn't make. I was actually at the game. And I didn't notice too much at the time. I know a lot has been spoken about it. The one thing I would say is you wouldn't tell on the pitch there was a problem. They played brilliantly together. You know, some of their play at Crystal Palace the other night was the best I've seen them all season. And you know, to say that's happening off the pitch, I mean, there's grumblings, there's contracts running out. There might be a bit of tension. You know, and I just think it's something that Arsene Wenger will keep an eye on. If it creeps onto the pitch, then I think you've got a real problem. But so far, I haven't seen that.
Because all sorts of stories are emerging now in the press that how he was confronted early in the season by 6 or 7 players, and he's not very well liked, and he's a little bit ostracised in a way because of what's gone on. Because the players aren't daft; they know that he wants away.
Well, if I was a player at Arsenal, I'd be doing everything I can to try and make him happy, wouldn't you? But he's such a valuable asset to Arsenal.
It's too far down the line, Alex.
Maybe it is, but I know one thing, Arsenal are a better team with him in there.
But I think we've all played in dressing rooms where there's people you don't like, and there's been maybe one member of the group that a lot of people haven't liked.
Yeah.
But that's just dynamics of a dressing room, you know.
But that's life, isn't it?
Of course it is. But as long as when you're professional, you get on the pitch and you all play together and you do well for the club and you do your job, then that's just just part of the game.
If he needs his ego massaged a little bit, massage it, you know.
Yeah.
Just let him do what he does on the pitch. And as I say, when he's on song for Arsenal, they're a better team with him in the team.
You've got the all-out massaged a few egos in your time, Alex.
Yeah.
Who were those players you didn't like, by the way? Just trying to write them down.
Come on the fence for that one.
I'm leaving that. No name.
We think we know, it's okay. Let's go to Damien Johnson, the Riverside.
0-0, chances at a premium here, but Tony Pulis prowling the championship level touchline for the first time in a decade, and signs he's putting his own style on it. 2 big front men, 4 defenders, all have played the central positions before. I can confirm actually that he spent his Christmas vouchers in the usual fashion. He's wearing the club shop.
Port Vale have the lead over Luton Town. Dan Potts on goal. Bit of a surprise scoreline coming in from there. MK Dons 1-0 up against Peterborough. Fleetwood have taken the lead through Ashley Hunter at Bury, and Cambridge United lead Crewe Alexandra. Crewe Alexandra in all sorts of trouble in League 2. David Amu with a goal on 27 minutes. Back to Bramall Lane, Sue Smith.
Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 1, and got to say Bolton Wanderers are playing very well. They're looking to get the ball forward as quickly as possible. Lafondra and Medine causing all sorts of problems playing on the back shoulder of Sheffield United's defence. Sheffield United, Bolton just nearly scored again. Sheffield United have been a little bit sloppy on the ball, which is very unlike them. So far, Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 1.
Good concentration, Sue Smith. Jack Nichols at Portman Road.
Well, it's 1-0 here to Derby County. They should have had 2 as Vidra missed a clear one-on-one opportunity. They could have had 4, to be honest. Ipswich have got their first corner of the match now. They have not created any chances of note, really. Derby looking incredibly strong at the back, as you'd expect from a side that haven't conceded in 5 games.
Very true. Back to the Premier League. Swansea City free kick. Robin Cowan.
And it's Renato Sanchez or Tom Carroll over this one. It's just on the apex of the penalty area. Carroll runs over it. It's floated in by Renato Sanchez. Fernandez is there, and it is going to be cleared by Watford. Incidentally, Carrillo has been booked for the challenge on Jordan Ayew that led to that free kick. It is still Watford 1, Swansea 0.
Just 3 goals so far in the Championship. Are we getting close to St Andrews, Hamish Marshall?
Well, if I tell you it takes an average of 3 hours for Birmingham City to score a goal, you might think not. They have started quite brightly here, though. Jeremy Boga, who's on loan from Chelsea, has been impressive. He's shot wide for them. At the other end, Leeds have taken some time to get into it. Calvin Phillips with a shot from the edge of the box was a comfortable save, so it is, I'm afraid, still 0-0.
There we go. Ivan Gaskell. Hamish has upped the game. We're into averages now.
This will be very average. Half an hour in, the scoreboard remains undisturbed. Sunderland actually started this one on the front foot. They're now rather on the back foot. Daryl Murphy spent 5 years as a Sunderland player. It's fair to say that he'd be keen to score against them. 3 opportunities, none of them taken. Story of the game so far.
Ouch, Ivan Gaskell. Ouch. To Durham Tanner at the Cape-Off.
Hull City 0, Fulham 0. They're not scored in 3 games, Hull. They're doing their best to try and make this game a little bit more exciting, a little bit more interesting. They are taking it to Fulham, who are happy just to defend and hit on the counter. But we're waiting for a real clear-cut chance. Hull City 0, Fulham 0.
Are we awaiting any chances at Oakwell now, Spremji?
We certainly are. It's Barnsley 0, Reading 0. Very, very tepid and slow affair, this one. Mamadou Tiam with a shot, edge of the area for Barnsley, which was just wide. It's not been good, Jason. Barnsley 0, Reading 0.
I'm delighted to say it's much better at the Vitality Stadium. Chris Wise.
Huge goal for relegation threatened Bournemouth. They're leading Everton 1-0, and frankly it's been coming in the opening 33 minutes. Ryan Fraser has got it. Everton guilty of giving the ball away. Sloppy pass on the halfway line. Wilson ran at the Everton back line, knocked it to his right hand side. King was marauding into the penalty area, and Ryan Fraser on his own at the far post, found beautifully by King on the half volley, wonderfully finished. Bournemouth 1, Everton 0.
That's Bournemouth's 7th shot of the game. Everton have just had the 1. He's playing really well, Ryan Fraser, at the moment, isn't he?
Very good, very good. He's adopted that role well. He picks up the ball in those pockets of space in between the lines. I think Bournemouth do that brilliantly. It's a real challenge for Everton today, because Bournemouth are that type of team that are going to want to control possession and keep finding the space in between the lines and getting in behind them, and they've started really well.
It poses that threat, doesn't it, when he's got pace down, like we touched on before the game, when they can run them channels and you've got people like Fraser making the box. It gives them a threat, and it's a massive game for Bournemouth today, one they have to win, and they've started well.
And yes, it's a nice finish from Ryan Fraser, but it's a lovely ball in, isn't it, from Josh King?
Lovely ball. I don't know where the Everton defenders were, mind. He was on his own in the 18-yard box, but it was a funny height, and it was a little bit behind him. He's done well to get his foot over the ball, and and put it in the goal.
Chris Dagnall has got one back for Crewe. Exeter City in front through Kane Wilson. Crawley Town have the lead over Stevenage, all in League 2. Goal at the Cmon in the Championship, Derm Tanner.
Look at this, Hull City have scored. Hull City 1, Fulham 0, and the top scorer Bowen, back after injury, has just netted from a corner, flick to the far post, close in, he ain't going to miss from there. Hull City 1, Fulham 0.
You simply cannot call the Championship any longer. Lindsay Hooper at Griffin Park.
Brentford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, and you couldn't have called that because the goal came against the run of play, but since then, Brentford have been on top. There's been a crucial save from Wal Smith in the Wednesday goal. Joseph Soon beat the offside trap. He was one-on-one. The goalkeeper was out tall and very quick off his line, prevented Brentford going 2-0 up. Brentford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Let's take you to the Pirelli Stadium. Mark Webber.
0-0, but the Norwich goal continuing to lead a charmed life since we last spoke. The visitors really labouring over their defence. The ball's been as loose as Jason's wallet on a night out, or so I'm told. Norwich's James Husband got a yellow for going down in the box, and they've had to substitute Harrison Reed through injury. They have a corner now, though. Everything on the bright side. 0-0.
For the record, lads, right, before we go out tonight, I've never been out with him. I don't know what he's talking about.
I didn't know you took your wallet on a night out.
Let's go to Richard Askin before we get into huge amounts of trouble.
Still one apiece here, Jason. Blackburn, though, on the front foot. Elliot Bellick with a stinging shot turned away by Matt Jilks, has also had a good header from Derek Williams as well, but it remains one apiece at Ewood Park.
Right, Crawley Town are down to 10 men. Josh Payne off on 35 minutes in League 2. To Sinsel Bank, Andrew Lindsay.
Yeah, tail of the top two scorers so far. Matt Reed's header cancelled out by Christian Deutsch, his 16th of the season. These two sides promoted together last season, and a rivalry's developed between them since. It remains 1-1.
Thank you, Andrew, and let's go back to Stamford Bridge, because I think there's a serious injury, Mike Williams.
Yeah, yet to see how serious it is. It's Antonio Rudiger, the man who is down, scorer of Chelsea's first here this afternoon after just 2 minutes, but he's down on the deck at the moment being treated by the Chelsea physio. It's after Mama Biram Diouf, the Stoke striker, sort of climbed on the back of him to challenge for an aerial ball and may have got a knee to his lower back. That's certainly the area of his body that Rudiger went down clutching. He's still on the ground, face first. He's just being eased onto his side and to sit up at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that, but Antonio Conte, his side 3-0 up, may be forced into a change before half-time here.
Yeah, okay, we'll have a look at that and speak to the boys in just a moment. In the meantime, let's go to Vicarage Road. Robert Cowan.
So Watford 1, Swansea 0. Watford looking like the more likely to get a second here. Some lovely build-up play. Richarlison is causing all sorts of problems down the Swansea right-hand side. They're holding firm at the moment. It's still Watford 1, Swansea 0.
It looks remarkably dull at St James's Park, Vicky Sparks. Are we right?
Well, you are, Jason, largely. I was going to say it's a game very short on quality, although we did just see a lovely little backheel from Hosselu to find Gale as part of a Newcastle break. In the end, Marino shot wide. Knockaert and Duffy have had half chances for Brighton, but so far it is pretty dull. Newcastle 0, Brighton 0.
Okay, and there's been another red card. MK Dons down to 10 men, Osman Sow on 35 minutes. So yeah, that's in League 1. And to the John Smith Stadium, John Akers.
Burnley in control here, still 0-0, but Defoe's had a free kick which flicked off the top of the wall. From the resultant corner, Barnes had a header over the crossbar. There's been a strong challenge on Goodmanson which went unpunished. The manager, Sean Dyche, Burnley manager, wasn't too pleased about that. And we've had an Arfield header for Burnley, flash wide of the post as well, 0-0.
Free kick at Anfield, Ailey Barber.
Free kick to Leicester. This game is just frantic. It's frenetic. It's 100 miles an hour. Liverpool desperate for that equaliser. They've come so close so many times. Whistled past the post, just over the crossbar. Saves from Schmeichel. But then when Leicester go on that break, they look dangerous too. This one is a really entertaining game, and Leicester are holding on to that 1-goal lead.
Chris Long's got his 6th goal of the season. Northampton Town lead playoff chasing Portsmouth. Partick in front at home to Ross County in the Scottish Premiership, and another goal at the Cmon Stadium, Joe Tanner.
Unbelievable. Hull City 2, Fulham 0. This time Dicker through ball to him, off he scampers, and a thunderous finish. There was no way that Bettinelli was going to get the end of that one. Hull City 2, Fulham 0.
And to the Vitality, Chris Wise.
Where there is going to be a change for Bournemouth, enforced change. They've lost Joshua King here. You might remember he came off on Boxing Day against West Ham United reasonably early on with an injury. I'm not sure if it's a reoccurrence of, but he's coming off again here. So Benica Fobe on in his place. And that Bournemouth goal, gifted to them by McCarthy, who gave the ball away, they almost gave one straight back to Everton. Adam Smith, short back pass, Calvert-Lewin capitalising, tight angle, lay off to Lennon, blocked by Gosling. rather fortunate Bournemouth, still winning 1-0.
Yes, Antonio Rudiger, delighted to say, is back on his feet. And you've had a goal, Mike Williams.
Almost. We were almost rubbing our eyes in the press box here because Stoke had the ball in the back of the net. Mama Biramju slotting it calmly past Courtois from a ball over the top. However, he was offside. According to the linesman, we've just seen the replay and he looked marginally on.
Well, we're just looking at that. We'll come to Matt and Alex in just a moment after we look at another replay. Looks like he's very much onside, but we'll get an update from Mark Clement.
Thank you very much, Jason. Let's take you into the Championship. Maybe we should just examine the plight of those two Sheffield teams, because it's been quite a turnaround. Well, for Sheffield United, certainly. I was just whipping through their recent form, and in fact, if it stays like this, it'll be the first Bolton victory at Sheffield United since Nat Lofthouse was Bolton Wanderers manager in 1970. Sheffield United got that win, that big win over Sunderland on Boxing Day, but they're taking just 2 points from their previous 18. Remember, 36 points from the first 17 games, second, consolidated nicely in the table, and all of a sudden 5 from 7 since, coinciding with the loss of Paul Coots with injury for most of the season. And Sheffield Wednesday there at Brentford, and I just wanted to well, talk up really the job that Dean Smith has done. Remember, Brentford lost 4 of their first 7 matches, but have only lost 2 in 17 since, and have won the last 2 before today. So that's how we are in the Championship. Quick whip into League One, really just so I can tell you that second sending off at Stadium MK was for another MK Dons player in Osmond South. So they've lost 2 today. They're ahead in the local derby match. They're ahead against Peterborough, 4-0 last competitions. But Joe Walsh and Osmond South sent off in that match. And here's where we are in League One. And 1 or 2 significant goals. Exeter there, who've been on a bit of a difficult time when you bear in mind they started the season so imperiously. Top with 28 points after 12 games, only 11 from their 11 games since, but 1-0 up there over Barnet, who've had 4 defeats in 5. And Lincoln most definitely, I know Forest Green have equalised, but on the move. Danny Cowley, remember their manager? 3 promotions in 8 years.
Yeah, not having Sunderland winning league.
With Braintree Town.
Piss
1
off.
promotion with Lincoln last season. Could he be on the verge of another this time around?
Mark, you'll be interested in this one. As you've been talking, goal at the City Ground, Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, and it is rather against the run of things here because Sunderland have taken the lead. They started brightly. Forest have had half a dozen chances, most notably Daryl Murphy, none of them on target, and now Sunderland have gone up the other end. Swift counter-attack, lovely deep cross from Adam Matthews, and it was skillfully guided by that player who knows where the goal is. He's been around the Championship and around the world of football, Aidan McGeady. Lovely guided header, and Forest are behind here.
A 5th goal of the season, and as it stands, Sunderland are out of the bottom 3. Now, it's not hugely controversial because we've just been looking at that Mamadou moment. Kevin Friend is the referee, and the linesman flags, and we thought it was offside, but is it handball? He takes it down with his arm?
Well, it looks like he's just brought it down with his bicep a little bit. He's put his arm out and the ball's hits him somewhere around the shoulder region. He's given the decision for handball apparently, so we'll have to get a close-up of it, but it was a good spot by the linesman because we all initially thought it was offside.
But where this becomes interesting, so Callum Wilson,
here you go, you can see it
on Boxing Day, Callum Wilson gets that last-minute equaliser, and apparently that touched his bicep. That goal stands, whereas this one doesn't.
Yeah, all I'd say is that this one is a little bit more obvious. The ball's probably a bit slower, it's looping over the air, and the linesman is dead that side. So the side that Diouf is, the linesman is 20 metres away with nothing obscuring his view. So he's literally just put his arm out and it's just brought it down.
I've just seen it again there. I'm not sure, you know. I'm not sure.
Shoulder?
I think it might be shoulder, yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
Part of the arm, though.
Yeah, but if you control, can you really control a ball with that part of your arm? I don't know.
You have to have, it's a really, really difficult one, I have to say. I've seen it given and
I think what the linesman's got sucked into is the fact that his arm's out.
Yes.
So as he's running, his arm's gone out as the ball's contacted him, and I think it just looks from his position like he's brought it down with his arm.
Yeah, okay. Still Chelsea lead, and still Liverpool are a goal down, Ailey Barber.
They are, and Leicester are coming back into this game at the end of this first half. They've started slowing the game down a little bit. It had to happen because Liverpool were just running absolute riot through the back of their defence and creating chances all over the place. So they've taken a little bit of time with goal kicks, with throw-ins. It's not going down well here with the Anfield crowd, but they've managed to get themselves a little bit of a foothold back into this game, and they still lead thanks to that Jamie Vardy goal.
Portsmouth have won their last 5 home games. They're level against Northampton Town. Portsmouth start the day 7th, 1-1. Matthew Kennedy with the goal. Shrewsbury Town now 2-0 up at Southend United. Ben Godfrey. We should just talk to Alex about Shrewsbury Town because you played them recently, and you were telling me before we came on air today just how impressed you were with them.
I was very impressed. I think they're a very physical team. You can see why they're doing well in the league this year. It was a very physical game against us on Boxing Day. And I can see why, as I say, that they're doing really well this season. And it doesn't surprise me that they're 2-0 up at a very difficult place in Southend because they've done well at home, especially this season.
I was going to say, because especially at home, their home form is very, very good.
Home form's very good, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, thank you. Let's go back to the John Smith Stadium. John Akers?
Yeah, Huddersfield have got a free kick here in a dangerous position right at the end of the half, and Depoitre has won the free kick, and it's going to be Moy to deliver with Depoitre waiting in the middle. Recalled to the side today, of course, he's been on terrific goal-scoring form. Moy standing with hands on hips. It's been all Burnley in the half, really. Here it comes from Moy, swung in, good delivery, headed away by Burnley. Only as far as Malone, who has a go, but it's way over the bar, 0-0.
4th goal of the season, by the way, for Dookie Imrie from the spot, Hamilton level at Motherwell in the Scottish Premiership. Let's take a trip to the Vitality Stadium. Chris Wise.
Only 10 seconds to play of the first half. Bournemouth leading 1-0 through that Ryan Fraser goal. Everton just have not warmed up so far. And Sam Allardyce, who remember, unbeaten in his first 7 matches in charge of the club. Best ever start by an Everton manager. He needs to change something soon. Might want to call upon his leading scorer Wayne Rooney, who's amongst the substitutes, to try and turn this game in their favour.
And we've just seen a shot of Sam Allardyce slumped in his chair as well. Let's go to St James's Park. Vicky Sparks.
Yeah, half-time 0-0, not the best half of football, evinced by the fact that we had absolutely no stoppage time. So as the players walk off the pitch in front of me, in a game that is so big for both of these sides trying to avoid relegation, there's been very, very few clear chances. Dwight Gale had a shot from a very tight angle, well saved by Ryan, and then at the end of the half, Duffy with a header just wide and just over from a corner. He has got on the end of a couple of corners, Duffy, a threat for Brighton, who haven't scored in their last 4 away games. Newcastle are playing with one of their arguably most attacking lineups, 2 up top, Richie and Atsu on the wings, but so far it is not yielding fruit for Rafa Benitez, and Chris Hughton has Brighton 0-0 at the break against his old side.
What a comeback for Portsmouth. They now lead Northampton by 2 goals to 1. Oliver Hawkins on the stroke of half-time. Robin Cowan, Watford looking for their second.
Yeah, nearly getting it twice. Doucouré has scooped a shot just wide, and Richarlison, his header was well held by Fabianski. A great run to the back post, a really powerful header by the Brazilian. They still lead by a goal to 0. 30 seconds of stoppage time remaining of this first half.
Entertaining half at Anfield, Ailey Barber.
It has been a breathless opening 45. It burst into life inside the opening 3 minutes when Jamie Vardy slotted in a perfectly placed Riyad Mahrez cross to give the visitors the lead. It was some pretty dreadful defending by Liverpool, to be honest. Not the best show for £75 million man Virgil van Dijk, who's watching on here today. But there on in, it's been a pulsating display of Liverpool at their free-flowing attacking best, just without the finish. Fabinho, Coutinho, Salah and Mane have been sublime. They haven't been able to find the target, and when they do get past Kasper Schmeichel, they can't get past Kasper Schmeichel. Mane did have the ball in the net after a scintillating move, but it was ruled out for offside. So they amazingly trail here at half-time. It's been all Liverpool, but it's Leicester who leads by a goal to 0.
Yes, and it's Leicester City who are sitting in 8th. Let's go to the John Smith Stadium. We didn't expect much, John Akers.
No, it kind of does have a lot of people in the press room saying this has got 0-0 written all over it, but Burnley have been the better side and have had chances in the game. They've just lacked a finishing touch in front of goal. Defoe and Goodmanson with the best of their chances, but neither of them hitting the target. Quana's run and shot, the best effort from Huddersfield, 0-0.
And let's take you back to Vicarage Road. Robin Cowan, half-time.
Yes, Carlos Carvalhal's first game in charge. He'll see his side going at half-time. A goal down to Watford. Really well worked. Richarlison beautifully played in by Akaka. His effort from the angle parried by goalkeeper Fabianski. And Andre Carrillo nodded home from 6 yards. Swansea were the width of the bar away from taking the lead before that goal. Jordan Ayew hit the woodwork with a speculative 30-yard effort. They played some really nice stuff, Swansea, but it's been the story of their season, lacking that cutting edge in the final third. They'll have to find it in the second half. It's Watford 1, Swansea 0.
And let's take you straight to Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea have been brilliant, Mike Williams.
Yeah, Chelsea barely out of third gear here, let alone second, and they're still 3-0 up. All of the goals coming in the first 22 minutes. We've barely taken our seats by the time Antonio Rudiger headed the champions in front from a well-taken Willian free kick. Danny Drinkwater back in the starting 11 today, rifled in a second from 25 yards out for his first of the season. And Pedro arguably wrapped this one up after being fed by Willian. He fired past Butland. Geoff did have the ball in the back of the net for Stoke, but that was chalked off for use of the arm in the build-up. Stoke, remember, making 6 changes for this one, and it shows. They've rested the likes of Allen, Shaqiri and Choupo-Moting. They're all on the bench. They will do well, Mark Hughes' side, to just keep this one to 3.
Yeah, and don't forget, with it being 3-0, don't forget Chelsea has still got Hazard and Fabregas on the bench as well. And let's go to the vitality, Chris Wise.
Bournemouth leading Everton 1-0 at half-time. It's a warranted advantage as well for attacking endeavour, really, from the home side, if nothing else. There's been one main chance in the game. Ryan Fraser took it for Bournemouth. Everton, though, handing it on a plate to them. McCarthy giving the ball away on the halfway line. Wilson to King. King's ball in from the right. Fraser on the volley. And it was awkward as well because it was slightly behind him. It was very good from the Scotsman for his 3rd of the season. I'm loath, really, to say that Everton's chances have even been half chances. They haven't been in it. And Sam Allardyce's unbeaten start as Everton boss is in some peril. Bournemouth leading 1-0.
Yeah, and Chris is right. A splendid finish from Ryan Fraser. Let's take a spin around the EFL grounds. Let's start at Bramall Lane. Sue Smith.
Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 1. Fully deserved lead at half-time. Bolton Wanderers had to change formation due to injuries, but they've adapted so well. They've been first at every single ball. Gary Medine, who has been a threat throughout, he scored his 8th goal of the season. Sheffield United don't look as sharp as they did on Boxing Day. They did, however, have a huge chance right at the end of the first half. Top goal scorer Leon Clark threw on goal, but he couldn't beat Alnwick in the Bolton goal. Half-time, Sheffield United 0, Bolton Wanderers 1.
And next to the City ground, Ivan Gaskell.
Well, Nottingham Forest 34-year-old Irish striker Daryl Murphy's been around the block. He would love to score against his old club. He's done everything but, and it's cost Forest here so far. Sunderland largely struggled to make an impression, but 5 minutes before the break they rendered home fans silent. And Matthew's cross, that has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Aidan Murphy skillfully guiding it home. Sunderland scenting only a 3rd win in 21 league games.
Yeah, and Sunderland out at the bottom 3 as it stands. Let's go to the KCOM Stadium. Durham Talent, great half for Hull City.
Yeah, hard work has its rewards for Hull City, who always look better than Fulham in the first half. Hull went ahead as top scorer Bowen was on hand to tap in from a corner on the half hour, and then John Terrell set up Dicko for the second 4 minutes later. Dicko racing onto a through ball and thumping it for 2-0. Jokanovic, the Fulham manager, then made a double substitution, swapping out his strikers. You don't often see that as before half-time. 2-0 to Hull City at the break.
What a Christmas it's been for Brentford fans, Lindsay Hooper.
It has, and it continues. Half-time Brentford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. First shot on target, and it resulted in a goal for Brentford's man of the moment, Lasse Vibe. 6 goals in 5 matches for him. Great control in the box, dummying a defender and then slotting past Wednesday's goalkeeper. And a special mention for Wildsmith since then. He's kept out 3 real chances for Brentford. Without his saves, Brentford would be out of sight. Half-time Brentford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
And Derby County up to 2nd, Jack Nicholls.
They've been performing incredibly strongly here at Ipswich. They're leading by a goal to 0 at half-time. An early header from Sam Winnall coming from a corner. Since then they've had 5 clear-cut chances to double their lead. Haven't been able to do so, so Ipswich technically are still in it, but haven't really created much going forward. One scrambled clearance off the line from a bobbled corner, about the closest Ipswich have come to levelling up. Ipswich 0, Derby 1.
And Leeds United not taking advantage of Cardiff City losing last night yet, Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, not so far. They've been resolute in defence, but a bit sloppy in possession. The closest Leeds have come was Phillips almost getting on the end of a Hernandez cross. But I think, to be honest, this is probably going to be one of the best halves of Birmingham's season. It has still been missing a goal for them. Mikael Kiftenbelt came closest. A good run and powerful shot from the edge of the box was tipped over. 0-0 at the break.
Surely not another goalless draw. Mark Webber.
Well, look, I know Burton want to stay in the Championship because they've upped the media catering here. It's green tie curry today, didn't get that a few months ago. They're also making a good fist at the goal. And Norwich are labouring at their clearing of the ball, and Nearly Burton have scored. Norwich still have some of their best players on the subs bench though, so expect some second half changes. But yes, it's Burton 0, Norwich 0.
After Damien Johnson at the Riverside, how's Tony Pulis getting on?
Well, there are no goals. It's an open game, but neither side able to muster much in the way of quality close to the opposition penalty area. The best chance fell to Middlesbrough. Shested's knocked down, Howson's effort saved by Sam Johnston. Villa's Josh Anoma's limped off, replaced by Jack Grealish. There are signs of the traditional Tony Pulis approach from Middlesbrough, with Ryan Shotton reprising the ex-Stoke man Rory Delap's long throw routine, but it's scoreless.
And to Oakwell, Naz Premji.
Barnsley 0, Reading 0. The home side marginally better in a game of few chances and few incidents. Harvey Barnes with a header has gone closest to breaking the deadlock for the home side. Rumours that the Webber effect is on call here, yet to be proved right. Barnsley 0, Reading 0.
Take it to Ewood Park into League One. Our game of the day is there. Richard Askham.
Blackburn Rovers 1, Scunthorpe United 1. Good competitive stuff from two teams aiming to chase down the leaders. Danny Graham opened the scoring, lashing in to put Blackburn in front. Scunthorpe responded with a fine goal. Dutchman Kevin Van Veen finishing in style into the top corner. Blackburn in particular have had opportunities to add to their tally, but overall neither side has really found enough control in midfield to dominate the other, and it is level at the break.
Richard, thank you very much indeed. Enjoy your half-time cup of tea. Cambridge United looking for back-to-back wins, but their two-goal lead has been pegged back by Crewe Alexandra's Chris Dagnall. Exeter City aiming to bounce back from 2 defeats in 3 games. They lead Barnet, courtesy of Kane Wilson. Port Vale have taken a shock lead against table-topping Luton Town, who've lost just once in 23 games. Dan Potts with an own goal, and Wycombe Wanderers could record a 7th straight home win after Adebayo Akinfenwa's 7th-minute strike. And let's go to Sinsel Bank. Half-time there, Andrew Lindsay.
Jason, we might be in the shadow of Lincoln Cathedral, but the weather here is unholy. The wind, though, not ruining a good, honest scrap. Matt Reed's far post header putting the home side ahead. A sickness bug meant their players were separated in training this week. Meanwhile, Forest Green only played 45 minutes of an abandoned match on Boxing Day. They've equalised through a turn and shot through the prolific Christian Dowich. Let's see if that extra rest and that famous vegan diet can pay dividends in the second half.
Right, okay, let's bring you right up to date with League Two. I got a bit of Groundhog Day feeling about this, thinking that we've done this one already because there was a kind of a mix-up with the scripts, but never mind. And we've done it and we are completely up to date. And let's bring you right up to date with what's happening in League One. Blackburn Rovers 1, Scunthorpe United 1, Blackpool 0, Plymouth Argyle 2, Bradford City have the lead over Oxford United by goals 0, Bury 0, Fleetwood Town 1, Gillingham 0, AFC Wimbledon 0, MK Dons 1, Peterborough United 0, Oldham Athletic 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Portsmouth lead Northampton Town by 2 goals to 1. After going a goal down at Fratton Park, Southend United 0, Shrewsbury Town 2, and Walsall 1, Rotherham United 1. Right, let's hope we've got the right scripts for these ones. Here we go. Let's see how we get on. In the early kick-off, the Old Firm derby between Celtic and Rangers ended goalless. Celtic failing to score at home for the first time since March 2016. Hibs' Ollie Shaw has equalised against Kilmarnock after Chris Boyd's 6th goal in 6 games for Killie after just 60 seconds. And 10 Manson Johnston are behind at Dundee, having had Richard Foster sent off. Marcus Haber putting the away side ahead. We got there in the end. Wonderful scenes. Right then, the football continues on BBC One tonight. Gary, Alan Shearer and Ian Wright will guide you through the pick of the games in the Premier League in Match of the Day. And the biggest weekend in English football is just a week away.
FA Cup round 3. Best be bringing your A game if you plan to stay. Because now it's time for the big guns to enter the fray. And reputations, past glories hold no meaning. Anything can happen when there's old rivals meeting. Speculations made may talk to teams, but these giant killers come to destroy your dreams. This could be yours for the taking. It's pride to be won. It's winner stays on. A weekend of live FA Cup football starts with Liverpool-Everton Friday night, 7:30, BBC One.
And what a game that is going to be. Right, Mark Clement, terrific first half in the Premier League and also the EFL.
Yeah, lots of great stuff going on. Things to look out for in the second half. Can Derby hang on or even extend their lead at Portman Road? Remember, it's 4 league wins in 5 without conceding so far. They've worked their way into second place. A lot of emphasis on that because that's the position that Bristol City occupied at the start of the day. Remember, 5:30, they're up against Wolves. Both of them with these tremendous records. 6 wins in 7 in all competitions for Bristol City, including beating Manchester United in the League Cup. And incredibly, 8 league wins in 10 for Wolves. Incidentally, the last 12 teams to be top of the Championship on New Year's Eve have won automatic promotion. Obviously, that is the position that Wolves are in. We're looking, obviously, at Tony Pulis's bow in charge of Middlesbrough up against Aston Villa, the 2 pre-season favourites, 0-0 at the moment. So that's where we stand. Oh, and we should give a mention as well for Sunderland, who, although they've had a modicum of improvement under Chris Coleman, not quite fully got in their stride yet. It is just 3 league wins in 24 before today. 8 points from 7 games for Chris Coleman. As I said, that's before today. Into League One. And I guess we'll keep a lot of eye on that game at Stadium MK. Remember, MK Dons are on their worst run of form for over a year. 1 league win in 13, none in 7. They are 1-0 up over Peterborough with 2 players having been sent off in that particular game. We'll keep an eye as well on Plymouth, who've improved no end of late. 3 wins in 4 before today. And in League 2, well, a lot of the relegation contenders sadly are behind. Barnet are behind again there, certainly. Chesterfield are getting a draw. And while we're in League 2, and you can have a little look at that for yourself, obviously Port Vale against Imperious Luton with all the goals they've scored. I do just want to mention that brilliant game last night. Yeovil took a 2-0 lead, Morecambe equalised, Yeovil took the lead again, Morecambe equalised, and then a last-minute winner for the old warhorse, the veteran, Kevin Ellison, and this is what he tweeted afterwards. He's been around the game so long. I don't even do weights. I just eat sausage rolls and chicken dinners. That's what he puts his success down to. Not doing badly. Sounds like a standard meal for me, actually.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Clem, back to you very shortly. Well, Manchester United don't play until 5:30 today. They're up against Southampton, hoping to close the gap on Manchester City, who are a whopping 15 points ahead in the Premier League. But for Jose, the race at the top is becoming harder and harder.
Only a team that can catch City, isn't he?
Without taking any credit to Manchester City and Pep and his staff and the players, they have obviously lots of credit in what they are doing. But Pep arrived. He has the goalkeeper of England. He doesn't like him. He buy the goalkeeper of Barcelona. He doesn't like him. He buy another one. Now he likes. He has Zabaleta and Kolarov, 2 very good players, but more than 30 years old. He wants to replace. He doesn't replace with 2, he replaces with 3. Can we buy 6, 7 players at the same time? Can we invest 600, 700? No. So it's difficult. I think the last years the market is going in such a direction. Or you belong to one of these clubs where there is no limit, and you just buy what you want.
Right. What do you make of this latest Jose rant then?
We all know he's got a point, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, Pep can go 3 goalkeepers, 2 right backs, 3 right backs, however many you want to call it. He's strengthened in other areas as well. But I think the recruitment, where you've got to take your hat off to Pep, has been second to none in terms of the people he has brought in. They've all been successes.
Yeah.
And the players who he has worked with.
His record transfer fee, 50. Was it De Bruyne, or if they bought
55?
55. So
De Bruyne.
Yeah, exactly. De Bruyne at 55. So for me, it just comes across as a little bit sour for me sometimes. I don't think you can take away the impact that Guardiola's had with his methods, with his philosophy, with his energy, enthusiasm, how he's gone about it. Yes, they've got players and cover and what have you, but you have to say that United have got a pretty deep squad now. It's just that he's had different managers inputting into that squad over a period of 3 or 4 seasons, and it's a bit more jumbled than what City's is.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth in any way, shape or form. That's not my job, but...
You're going to try.
But this is classic Mourinho, isn't it? He sits there and talks about how much money they spend, and to hide any deficiencies that Jose Mourinho has had in terms of strategy, in terms of tactics, in terms of the players, because let's face it, he has inherited an awful lot of players as well from previous incumbents. It's almost effectively saying, look, Pep hasn't won the title. What's won it is the fact he's been able to go and spend huge amounts of money.
Yeah, but in fairness, Pep has also playing players that he's inherited. A lot of that team that is playing for Man City, he hasn't gone and bought. He's coached them, and the difference for me is that so many of them players that he's inherited have improved under his managerial reign there so far. They've improved as players, and I think that's a key point, that he hasn't bought them. He's actually improved the players that he inherited.
There is no doubt about that. He's improved the squad. Pep has done very well. He's brought people on, as we've discussed. What I will say is, though,
Newcastle
Pep inherited a better squad than what Jose Mourinho did, in my opinion. I think Man City were far better shape than what Man United were. I believe that Mourinho's job at Old Trafford has been far more difficult than what Pep Guardiola's was. So I can see where Jose is coming from and the negativity around him, because I do feel a little bit sorry for him in terms of the expectation at Man United when the job has been easier for Pep at City.
Okay, much more chat to come on Manchester United Southampton. After we go to the Vitality Stadium, we're back underway. Chris Wise.
We are, and Everton have made a change from his bed to Bournemouth. Wayne Rooney is on. He's been ill for the last couple of matches, starting on the subs bench today. He's on at half-time. He's replaced James McCarthy. I don't know if McCarthy's come off because of that error he made in the first half, or whether the hamstring injury that obviously he hasn't played since late October might be affecting him. I'm not sure. Either way, Everton have that firepower they need. Their leading scorer, Wayne Rooney, 11 goals, is on.
Yeah, and any changes at Stamford Bridge, Mike Williams?
No substitutions at half-time, Jason, although it will surely only be a matter of time before Antonio Conte starts to rest some of his top players. The likes of Morata, you would think, would go off. Hazard, of course, is on the bench, but remember, Chelsea travel to the Emirates on Wednesday to face Arsenal in the Premier League, and let's face it, this game is pretty much done and dusted. Interestingly, just talking to one of our own at half-time, Garth Crooks in the pest room here, very conscious that Stoke could well take the record away from Wigan and Aston Villa for being the recipients of Chelsea's biggest home win, and we don't want that. That was 8-0, we're 3-0 at the moment.
Well, if you see Mr. Crooks, give him our very best wishes and wish him a happy new year. Let's go to Anfield. Ailey Barber.
Well, Leicester are incensed at the moment. Damari Gray went down under a challenge from Emre Can, and he looked to be in quite a bit of Liverpool played on, and they forced another corner. They have been on the front foot in the opening few minutes of this half as the cross comes in and Schmeichel punches it clear. Damari Gray is back. We need to get back into this game and try and build on that one-goal advantage that they have.
Away at John Smith Stadium, long-range effort from Phil Bardsley. John Akers.
Effort at goal we've had in this half. They've been few and far between. Burnley have just not been clinical enough in the match so far. We're hoping for better fare than we had here in the first half. 0-0.
And we're hoping it improves, Vicky Sparks, at St James's Park.
Absolutely, still 0-0 between Newcastle and Brighton, but a couple of early Newcastle as Brighton come forward. It comes out to Gross, edge of the penalty.
First half, Howson onto a Gested knocked down but saved by Johnston. It's 0-0.
So Derby County have a second goal, Jack Nichols.
And it's another goal for Sam Wynn on an absolute strike as he cut in from the left wing, got to the edge of the area and unleashed a right-footed shot. Goal from Winnell. Ipswich now need to come.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Bye for now.
Oh, fuck off.
World dominators and we're also some smooth operators, and we gone.